be, but it could.
I see what you're doing. IG, those are tight. Thinking about a nah, or Cacao's thinking about it nah, not entirely sure. Having a bit of a giggle about it there as well as IG thinking about what they want to lock in next to answer this one. Back to the Udyr here as well, as Kid's going to have his Callista locked in, and Cacao, there's no seconds left, and this could be an Udyr.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the Udyr. We've seen the rise in popularity with the Cinderhulk. Clears extremely quickly, and we're talking about counter jungling. No one does it better right now than a Udyr. Of course, has a little bit more dueling potential than the Nunu. Is kind of what Nunu has in securing buffs. That's his strengths, as well as his counter jungling. Udyr just has the straight up, I want to fight you.
Yeah. If you come anywhere near the camp I'm trying to take, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. I'll try to kill you. And then run really quickly away if I can't.
Yeah, that seems to make sense there as well. But the answer from Royal Club is going to be 0 on his Thresh. And Blank is going to lock away that Hecarim for the top lane. Doesn't look like Teleport Smite just yet, as that Ignite Teleport has been locked away for Cola so far. But that could all change as we move into this one.
Yeah, it certainly could. I think it depends on how mobile the AD carry is from Kid that comes through. We also see the Nah and a potential Annie coming through here from Kiddies. And of course, they have seen the AD. It's Callista.
Yep. Hanging out there in the first line of picks.
There's actually the supporter list coming through from Kiddies here to match some of the hooking pressure that will come out of Zero.
Yeah, hook for an anchor there being the trade. Of course, the anchor much larger. You can understand why Kiddies is going to answer with that one. But
so I was expecting a Callista to come through here, but because of the way the Nautilus CC works, very hard to run Callista into this
it's also the fact that Callista's already been picked up by a Jinx.
Sorry, Jinx.
That's the guy. But does Cogmore suffer from the same problem?
Yeah, exactly the same problem. The immobile not able to get over terrain. The only real way to escape Nautilus is to get over a wall.
Yeah.
Get over a ridge, something where you still have the ability to hit from the backside, and it is the Jinx that comes through. So a very brave pickup coming through from Name. He's shown that he's willing to run this AD against anything whatsoever. Very good pickup, but it just is a little bit dangerous. Vladimir also locked in on Korn. Wasn't very impressed with the last performance, but no Azir available. But it will be the Rise in the mid lane picked up.
Yeah, and a bit of flavor coming through from his friend Dade there in the mid lane. Of course, haven't seen it so far, but seeing it sitting on the ban list, of course, meaning that he is definitely back. And if Dade is able to pick him up, we know that Rise can certainly do some incredible things. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen the recent changes to come through, hasn't happened just yet, of course, but Rise up against this Vlad. And how does that generally work? Because it's been a while since we've seen that matchup.
Yeah, very scaling lane, not very much lane pressure out of either of them. They're just looking to beef up, and we'll go through the lineups. It is Hecarim versus Naya in the top lane. Cola needs to look to get aggressive.
Yeah, and Blank is going to be taking the Grungle this time into Cacao, who's decided to pick up the Udyr into it. We'll see how that one goes as the Vladimir and Rise matchup that we were talking about before. Now on your screen, we'll see whether Rookie can still have a fantastic performance there. Name picks up the Jinx into the Callista with the range advantage versus the mobility advantage. We'll see exactly what happens. And the two hooks in the bottom lane, the anchor and the hook.
Yeah, so Hook City of a different variety coming through in the bottom lane. And if anyone knows how to play against Rise, it must be said it would probably be Korn, a very good Rise player in his own right. Actually has a win in the last 4 games coming through on that particular champion. So I'm really interested to see how this one works out, because Royal Club, they have a lot of experience with it.
Oh, yeah, and they certainly do, and they know exactly what it's capable of. We'll see whether they actually have the tools in order to deal with that Rise in the mid lane, because, of course, you have to think, probably not going to be pushing down a turret in 10 minutes as Rise.
No, definitely won't be. We'll have to see how the lane plays out.
Yeah, we will as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for our second matchup between Starhorn Royal Club and Invictus Gaming. Of course, IG taking the first one pretty handily. And Blank now checking towards this top side. It's a dangerous part of the map if you were watching our first matchup here tonight. But not going to yield any results this time, and Blank able to get that ward down. Korn hanging out by his mid lane turret. And the lane swap looks to have already been instigated here by our IG members.
Yeah, so it looks like they will be on the top side of the map, not looking for the 2v2 this time around. Hecarim looking to pick up a camp. He hasn't picked up any other items apart from the flask, because that means he wants the 300 gold cloth armor to come through. And we see a potential late invade coming here through from Zatai as well as Kakao as they go for it.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Of course, no one towards this top side. I believe that they are going to be seen by this ward here as well. So they see 4 members towards that blue buff. So probably going to be a steal, but some vertical jungling just to result from it.
Yeah, and no freeze will be secured in the top side of the map because they won't be able to get back there in time. Meanwhile, Krugs were taken down by Name and Zero, so they're not going to be able to get any, I guess, advantages from the freeze either, but they will have a quicker level 2 and maybe the ability to push turrets a lot quicker because, of course, it is a Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx does tend to eat these turrets pretty quickly. Kola able to take down these Raptors here on his own. That was the fastest full clear of that red side of the jungle I think I've ever witnessed, as 4 members are going to be able to take those 3 camps down very quickly. Zatai now following Kakao around here. Standard sort of lane swap mechanics coming through. The jungle follows as Rookie has taken a lot of damage from Korn.
Yeah, he certainly has, but he has those potions available, so he'll be able to eat through some cookies. He'll be fine. Of course, kids, don't try that at home. They're not as good for you as they are in-game.
Yeah, that is true, and that's why you don't buy too many cookies, ladies and gentlemen, because, of course, you know, you have too many, you run into problems. You don't have enough items, that sort of stuff. So Korn is going to get caught up there, but everything's going to be a-okay. And you mentioned the fact that this is probably going to be a farm lane, and I should probably stop talking about every ability that goes off, because they're going to be throwing stuff at each other over and over again.
Yeah, they certainly are. And it's going to be very back and forward, because the harass that comes out of Vlad, probably just as good as that out of Rise. And honestly, it's going to be a very low interaction lane. Expect maybe a 4.5 minute back to come through from Rookie just to get an early tier, because as I said, kill potential very low. If he can get this lane to reverse, wouldn't be surprised to see him go shop.
Yeah, but the fast push is on here on the bottom side. Name, with that Gatling gun, able just to make sure that this turret kills as many creeps as possible before taking this one down. It's going to be a 4-minute outer turret, and it's been a long time since we've seen a turret be taken down this quickly in any league, but it's going to be perfectly done here as well, with the wave pushing back towards Royal Club as that global gold already helping out the Starhorn members.
Yeah, and you see the opposite in the top side of the map, a complete freeze coming through. If they rotate Name quick enough, he might just be able to run in there, shove that one in with his boots to pick up.
My goodness, Berserker's Greaves already.
Yeah, well, Berserker's Greaves, once again, very cost-efficient buy. The thrift shopping, once again, coming out very big.
This is the thing. Always trust Name. I'm learning. If I go back and I've got 1,000 gold, I'm buying boots too. That is just what I'm going to be doing from now on. As a little bit of a gank to come through from Kitties, just looking for a dredge line on his way in. As
got both summoner spells.
My goodness, that is definitely the power of Nautilus. Having CC on more than 4 abilities is pretty silly.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Oh, actually, his W doesn't have any. My bad. Unfortunate, of course. That would probably be a little bit broken, but Zero is going to land the Descends here onto Kitties. The flayback at the same time, as the Chompers not going to quite find the Nautilus. Riptide not going to find Jinx, though, and he does make it to that brush there as well. Zatai is actually coming towards his top side as Kid eats a rocket.
But while this is all going on, Zatai, he pushed out as the back comes through from Rookie, so a little bit later, but he will be able to go back, grab that tier. Also has enough for another mana crystal. Hecarim, he's got a very deep freeze in that bottom lane and has picked up a sizable CS advantage, not to mention all the experience that's coming across as well. That's horrible news. Zatai actually had to burn his teleport to get down there, and he's in real danger because this might put Kola a couple of levels ahead, and we've seen what Hecarim can do when he's ahead.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and this is a champion that you want to keep down. This is a champion that you want to punish in this laning phase, not provide with a perfect lane to freeze here as well, as he's able to use that Rampage to clear out a lot of these creeps under the turret, as Rookie heading back towards this mid lane. Of course, Vlad going to head back, pick up that Revolver. Pretty standard stuff. Both of these mid laners pretty reliant on that first item, the tier coming through here for Rookie, with that Sapphire Crystal going towards the Catalyst, you have to think, and that Revolver coming through as well. But yeah, Kohler, 28-7 as far as that farm is concerned, is massive here for the Hecarim.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you can see they're trying to make a pillow out of a jacket. No easy task.
Denim isn't that comfortable, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we've just found out here today. Name,
oh,
he's going to get dredge line. That was beautiful work, but the dark passages from Zero.
But you see how much damage that comes through from the Nautilus passive coupled with that passive on the Sentinel.
Yeah.
Just a lot of percentage health damage coming through there. So was nicely done. Chunking out a Jinx is always going to be a good thing. And we see that they're not finished.
Actually, Kitty's doing a lot of work here to Zero as well, who's trying to peel for this Jinx. Not going to be stunned up just yet here by Kitties, but the Ignite's been put down, forcing the flash out of Zero as Name trying to get some damage back here as well. But this is a very frightening lane to go up against coming out of IG.
And this is the thing about Nautilus. He's just so big, gosh damn tanky.
Especially with that Titan's Wrath. With that W up, does so much extra damage, and you also just don't want to hit him. You're like, oh, he's got a shield. What's the point? But he just does so much work. Nice dodge out of the way of the pierce there by Name. And Zero is able to get back into this lane as well. Does still have, actually out of consumables completely here. So the rest of the damage is going to stick as Korn able to pick up a blue buff here. And you have to think that's probably more just to keep up with that experience level in that mid lane.
CDR is just so important of Vladimir and wants to be able to shove out the lane as quick as possible. So I understand exactly why that one's going over.
I wouldn't have got that in solo queue, I don't reckon.
I don't think you would have in solo queue either. But then again, I can't get a blue buff of Xerath in solo queue, so.
That is a very good point. As Rookie very low on mana. He's going to go and pick up his own blue buff here that Kakao is going to provide for him. Of course, this Udyr has been power farming this jungle, trying to get to that Cinder Hulk as quickly as possible. Just, that's what Udyr does. He kills monsters.
This is what Kakao does on a lot of junglers as well. If he feels the lanes are going neutral, he tries to make himself a threat as much as possible and look for him to just roam around, clear out as much vision as he can and try and get busy. As we see Rookie, he's trying to shove out now that he's got that blue buff, keep the tiers stacking. And at the same time, he's weaving in some nice harass. Once again, winning out this lane quite handily.
Yeah, he's got more than a 10 CS advantage here, like 14 at this stage. And Korn really struggling. Misses another caster creep as Royal Club look to try and put some pressure here on this Ryze. This is a Ignite Ryze as well. We often see these Ryzes pick up a whole lot of defensive summoners. Oh my goodness, that Fate's Call was stunning.
It came a little bit late. The damage went through.
Oh, right. Well, it didn't kill him. So it looked more fancy.
So it was a completely wasted Fate's Call is what you're saying.
I don't know. It was just nice to grab him. It's like, I'm here for you. It's okay. Despite whether or not it was worth it.
Hold me, Callista. I'm scared.
Oh, my goodness. Thank goodness I didn't start singing Elton John. Korn able to farm up underneath this turret, though, relatively effectively. I think they're waiting for me to sing. I'm not going to do it.
I'm waiting for you.
No. But as we move towards this one, of course, my goodness. Now we're going to be backing in that top lane. And Gragas just traversing this map as well. Haven't seen too much out of Blank's Grungle so far this game.
Yeah, and that's a little bit disappointing because you would think with all the early CC that is available on Gragas' kit, could be able to couple up with some of these CC-less lanes. Or maybe even the heavy CC lane in the top, but across the board, every lane right now in IG's favor.
Yeah, and I mean, Name has managed to go back and pick up that BF sword, does have some potions there as well. Rookie's going to find Blank here. There's the explosive cast to come through as Korn was going to get turned around upon there, but Rookie flashes over the wall, answering flash by Korn. The Ignite not going to be enough, and that's first blood for the Vladimir. That's going to turn this lane exactly where Royal Club wanted.
Yeah, so he's able to grab the first blood, maybe even more importantly, able to get some damage down on the turret. And you see the focus coming through there.
My goodness, Korn he's a man on a mission right now.
Kakao runs through. The champions are like, oh no, he might attack us. No, just wants the minion waves. True Udyr fashion.
Yeah, the box is going to come through here as well. There's the depth charge. Immediately gets the ultimate out. Is the Dark Passage going to be available there from Zero as well? Mostly just for the shield. And Kid, he's not really worried about the champions. He just wants to take down the creeps that were getting smacked on by the non-existent turret. Korn going to clear out this wave here as well. Has evened up that CS, but Name's going to fall down on the top side. Not sure why Royal Club went back in on that one. Zero, you are most definitely dead, and a double kill for Kid. How that happened, I have no idea, because Royal Club, they got out. Aren't they supposed to just back there?
Yeah, they certainly look like that's what they should have done. It might even mean a turret coming across here for IG. That one already being prepped quite far. And we saw how well Kid was able to do when he was behind last game.
Yeah.
Just wait for the team fight, start taking over. This time coming out of lane with a 2-0-0, not to mention getting the early turret advantage over Name. It's going to spell all kinds of bad things. Of course, Jinx will scale superbly into the late game, but we've seen Kid, apparently he just doesn't care that the build isn't fantastic anymore, still wants to go for it.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you said about Kakao is going to find people in the jungle and then kill them. Of course, as soon as Zero sort of came around there, Rookie now under a lot more pressure, and my goodness, Korn, you got a bit of damage now.
Yeah, it certainly does. So Korn, he's able to start winning this lane after the first item pickup. Of course, Rise just needs to continue scaling. Can keep is a mixture between keep and continuing, but not the word.
I do like it, though. It's like you're making sure that we get everything out of what you're trying to say.
So, yeah, he's looking to be non-interactive for another 10-15 minutes until that roller has been stacked up. But Zatai,
here's the 1v1 going down in the bottom lane. Zatai just saying, okay, I've done my buttons now, and there's not really much more I can offer you there. Cola, and we'll just head back. Oh, goodness me.
I like to think that every now and again, Zatai just gets sick of being a tanky top laner. You can see it in the pickaxe build. And just decides he's going to try and kill someone even though he can't.
Oh, Dark Passage going to come out there. Kakao, the Chompers are going to do some work, but Zatai has teleported in through the backside, but doesn't have Mega Gnar. We saw Mega Gnar there about a second ago, so not going to have that for the next little while. And it did get the heal out from Name. Not entirely sure whether that was even necessary.
And this is how much investment they put on controlling the blue buff of the opposition. They're willing to burn a teleport, a 5-minute cooldown, without a Gnar ultimate to just secure control over the top side of the jungle. And they were able to pick it up, so you got to give them credit. That goes over to the Udyr jungle, who is double the CS of Gragas. 0-0-0, but just destroying some creeps.
Yeah, he's 15 CS behind the top laners, is Kakao. And these aren't lane swap top laners. This is top laners that have been duking it out in the bottom lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. So we see Royal Club off the back of that, looking to pick up the Dragon for themselves, of course, in the top lane. Zatai not having the teleport available. We saw that one already burnt, so they'll be able to grab that. Here's a consolation prize at this stage because you feel the map is starting to slip out of their control. They regained some composure with some good ganks mid lane, but it is scary throughout the rest because Kakao, he's just going to continue to get tanky, and there really is a timer on just how tanky this lineup's going to be. I mean, Kalista, the only real killable person, you have a Nautilus. He's going to be an absolute beast late game.
Yeah.
You have an Udyr. You have, for some reason, a Pickaxe Gnar. Not to mention the Rise.
It's the Frozen Mallet Gnar, dude.
Yeah, it is.
It's like the best build.
I honestly think it is.
Well, you think it's the best build, or you think it's a Frozen Mallet?
No, I think it's a Frozen Mallet.
Okay,
I definitely do not think it's the best build.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like a Jake Spawn Tiberi build.
Hasn't got a Trinity.
It doesn't, or a Ghost Blade. Oh, goodness me. But Kid and Kitties, now down in this bottom side. We do have standard lanes breaking out now that a whole lot of these turrets have fallen down. Kohler doing a nice job in this lane, but of course, he had a monopoly over it earlier on. Now completely even. Zatai able to neutralize that one. Rookie is going to get shoved in just a little bit here. You can see needlessly large rod completed by Korn. He has a lot more extra damage to add to this lane. And Descent's going to land on a Kitties here as well. The box comes down, a lot of upfront burst, but just comes out with a Fate's Call. No worries there at all. Zero looking to try and pick up a death sentence here or there, but doesn't have it as the creep wave was coming in.
And Zero actually flashed for that. So in the end, that's bad news for Royal Club. They used more. They used a teleport. They used a flash. They've given up mid lane turret. All of a sudden,
Rookie doesn't care which champion he's on. He just wants to kill the mid lane out of turret.
Yeah, and getting it at 16 minutes as a Rise is pretty impressive in its own right. So
pretty silly. Frozen Mallet completed by Zatai. There we are.
Unique pickup.
We'll see how that one works out.
I knew that's what it built out of, but it didn't even cross my mind that that's what it could possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. I'm here for your next level strategies, Spawn.
Oh, yeah. As our observer also points out, the frozen mallet. Thank you. Just rub it in a little bit more.
Oh, goodness gracious. But Zero and Blank hanging out here. Oh, Descent's almost landing onto Cacao, but not going to quite find it.
The next level mind game's actually coming out. He didn't juke at all, and that's why it missed. Zero throwing that one a little bit to the right, but Cacao, he's going to be completely fine. I'm interested to see how he gets onto this lineup. We've mentioned the disruption already, the Gragas, not to mention the fact that there is a Thresh on the opposition lineup. It's going to be hard for Cacao to get in. Might just have to look to peel for Kid. But he's already just so tanky. Nearly finished up that Locket of the Iron Solari.
I love that one. Oh, Zap going to come through on a Cacao just to try and deter him off.
Doesn't take damage.
No. Turtle Stance is pretty strong here as Blank going to try some do some work onto Zatai as the body slam comes through. Flashes just out of the way of that explosive cast, which gets him to safety. Name, though, in so much trouble. In fact, is dead as Cacao picks up the kill credit for that one, just says thanks, and is going to be on his way. Does have that Aegis completed here as well. Very, very tanky. Hemoplague down in the mid lane as Rookie running as fast as he can with that ultimate running. Hemoplague not going to do too much here, but Korn with that Ghost going to be able to at least pressure him off this minion wave, but Royal Club seem to be making aggressive moves, but not getting anything from it.
Yeah, they're trying to force fights in situations that they can't really have it because there's just so much disengage that comes out of IG. And IG, they just look like they have better understanding of what parts of the map they should be positioned around. They're able to grab all of the outer turrets now, and that will give them a sizable lead. What looked to be an close early game has now turned into a nearly 4,000 gold lead for IG before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous here as Korn is going to possibly be able to answer with Zero's help here on the mid lane outer turret. Rookie tries his best to try and clear it out, but not going to happen this time. Evens the turrets, 3,000 gold now the difference as IG have that advantage, but Royal Club picking up the Dragon is going to help even that one out just a little bit. And Hurricane is completed now for Kid, wanting a little bit more AoE damage in the next team fight that's going to come through.
Well, this time around, just recognizing that there is no armor on the lineup coming out of Starhorn Royal Club. So happy to go for the aggressive Hurricane build, even before he finishes up Bloodthirster. Of course, last game he sat on the recurve bow and went for that last Whisper to make sure he could shred through these tanky members, but not going to be needed this time. And you can say the same thing about Name. He doesn't really need to go for a last Whisper right now. There's a frozen mallet on the top lane instead of a Randuin's Omen, and maybe that's because of... I don't know what that's because of.
It's because of Zatai. Just Zatai in general. Just Zatai things, Spawn. That's what he wants to do, and that's what he's going to do. Actually decides that he wants the Spectre's Cowl as the next option here, as Cacao is on the duty as far as picking up that Frozen Heart is concerned by the looks of things, unless that's going to be the Iceborne Gauntlet, but I'm not entirely sure that's going to be the thing. Full tank Udyr does seem to be just ridiculously hard to deal with.
Cooldown reduction is just such a strong stat on Udyr because he's able to get through all of those stances even quicker, increases his effective health pool. And he's gone into 3 members and will mosey out.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to, because Rookie coming around here as well. Oh, Kitty's coming in through the backside. Kid looking for something here at the same time. At Zero, he's got a lot of attention. Kitty's going to get Fates called out of this one at the same time as Cacao finds a Korn, but he does have the pull available. Going to flash afterwards as well as Blank going to body slam his way out, but Rookie picks up the kill. Korn does have the Zhonya's Hourglass available, but it may not save his life here as Kid, with a lot of damage, doesn't have the Rend. Super Mega Death Rocket sails on by, and Rookie picks up the kill.
And Cacao just takes no damage whatsoever. Meanwhile, Zatai gets the 1v1.
That is the power of a frozen mallet. Boom, right there, legitimized. Beautiful stuff. Nailed it, Zatai. I believe in you and your build path choices. I've lost my color caster, ladies and gentlemen.
So they'll be able to pick up a turret and a red buff for it. They might even be able to rotate it to a dragon. All I'm going to say is Zatai might have lived with a little bit more health if he had a Randuin's.
But that's a Trinity Force Hecarim. He should be very, very strong. He died with his Igniter.
He certainly did.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to argue here. As the Dragon is going to fall down for IG. That's their first of the game, evening out that particular objective. 6,000 gold, now the lead at the 21-minute mark. That is quite sizable here. And a little bit dangerous, but Name Late game insurance factor of that Jinx always going to be there, but is it going to be there against the likes of Kalista, Ryze, Kakao on the Udyr, who's just going to get more and more difficult to deal with, Gnar, as well as Nautilus, who in his own right is going to become unkillable?
I honestly, oh, he got it.
He got it. Too easy. He had smite. Like, just smite it, dude. Decides he doesn't want to. And Pink Ward going to go down here as well, as Zatai just has the run of the map. The intimidation factor of the Frozen Mallet just a little bit too much for the Star and Royal Club lineup to deal with.
So late game, Kalista versus Jinx. Jinx is a much better late game scaling carry, of course. As soon as she gets those 3-4 items, just turns into an absolute monster. But as you mentioned, there's just such a tanky lineup coming through from IG. Even without a correct item build, Zatai will eventually get tanky when he picks up some armor.
The correct item build.
And we're actually seeing, if we go through exactly what Udyr is doing, he's maxing Phoenix. He's equally pointing the bear stance and the turtle stance afterwards. Nothing in Tiger so far.
Really? I thought that was 5 points in total. What? Am I getting that wrong?
I think you were getting it wrong, but let's have a look.
No, it's Turtle Max second by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think it's Turtle and Bear second.
Interesting. Kakao going to get zapped. Ladies and gentlemen, he did get hit by that zap. Don't be fooled, as Blank is going to come in through that backside. Rookie is right in the back line now, not exactly where he wants to be, as Name picks up that kill now. Death sentence onto Kid, and there are the Chompers at the same time. Super Mega Death Rock on a full health target, not exactly what you want. Kakao trying to tank up as best he can as Kiddies falls down in the backside. Cola finally going to fall as well as Kid. Able to use that Martial Poise to get himself to safety. Korn just being untargetable and annoying in that front line, but will not have the pull available in time as Zatai and Kid are ruling this fight. The triple kill for the Mini Gnar, and Kid able to destroy this turret. And man, Zatai, what? Just ulted a creep wave. No worries.
Oh, please have a thought for solo queue, Zatai.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Kid able to clear out this wave. Oh, this better be a replay of just the Gnar. No, it's not.
And it's just Rookie getting caught out by a great explosive cast. He ends up going down, trades Gragas's life, but look how tanky Kakao is in this. He's in the middle of it. He's taking turret shots as well. Cola, he flies into the team fight, does a lot of damage to Kitties, but Kakao, he's still tanking the whole team at this point, gets crit there, and does eventually fall down. But it was just all about how strong Zatai as well as Kid were. Kid able to take out Name. Zatai manages to pick up Vladimir as well, and he picks up the double off the backside.
Yep, and then transforms to Mega Gnar and Gnar's a creep wave. It was beautiful stuff.
Only wearing half of his jacket.
Yep, that's all you need. That's all you need to carry a game.
His left arm is colder than his right arm.
Oh, if only he was playing Trinimir, that would have been beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, as Kitty's going to clear out some wards. Kakao going to take down the Rift Scuttler here as well. 4-0-1 for the Frozen Mallet Gnar here in the top lane. Beautiful stuff. Even on CS here with Cola, who's only going to get more and more difficult to deal with. But we do have a 3-item Kid on Kalista, who's 5-0-6, the unsung hero on this Kalista, just able to get everything. I've been trying to talk about
it. You just keep taking it back to the Gnar.
Yeah, I do apologize. It's a little bit ridiculous, but Rookie has been doing some work here as well.
Hasn't got the upgraded sweeper yet, so won't get the vision ward placed there.
Unfortunate. And IG looking to put some pressure around this Baron area. They do have some barrels. Blank able to get some vision down here as Zero's trying to do his best to answer this vision war. Kakao
doesn't really care about champions at this point.
Doesn't really care about much, I don't think. Does almost have that Frozen Heart completed. The combined cost of that one not going to be too much longer, as the 1-1 and 8. Udyr is just doing whatever he wants this game. Royal Club pushing up this mid wave, looking a little bit like they don't quite know what their next move is really going to be, as Kid and Kakao are just hitting the Baron because they feel like it. Zero has discovered them there.
Well, Kakao just takes no damage, so whenever they can, they're just going to jump in there, try and sneak it away, and they will repeatedly do it. Eventually, Starhorn's going to have to face check a little bit too far to stop that one going through, and that just might mean that IG have better positioning around this map. We mentioned the fact they don't really have a way to start a fight apart from a fantastic hook coming through from Nautilus, so that might be the answer. Just bait them into the Baron.
No, we'll see whether they do go back to it. It's a tie. This is Banshee's Veil up here on the top side. Just going to keep clearing out these minions. Cola heading back to buy. Probably going to pick up that Frozen Heart on this Hecker. And we'll see whether he does have enough money as doesn't actually get found. Ooh, that was actually the scouting Super Mega Death Rocket. Going to give away the fact that Sahun Royal Club have absolutely no vision of that Baron area. They're going to continue trying to push back, but you can see Sahun Royal Club just, they feel like they have so much pressure on them.
Yeah, and they certainly do have the pressure. It's a 10,000 gold lead at only 26 minutes in. It's going to be the Baron here because Zatai, he's on the backside. Blank needs to be careful, needs to probably tank that.
He wants to. Korn coming through with a Hemo Plague here as well. Kitty's on the backside. Cola looking for him here. There's the ultimate. Gets feared as well. Kid probably going to fall down. They trade AD carries, but the IG members able to get up and amongst it. And Blank going down very, very low. Korn with a lot of consistent damage. Zatai and Kakao are around here as well. It is going to be the Nautilus falling down. Kakao going low as Korn's going to use the pull and try and pick something up, but that's Zatai just going off in this fight. Picks up the Gragas, picks up the horse as well. Korn trying to kite around, but Rookie secures the ace.
Yeah, so they're able to get the ace for 3. In the end, not a horrible team fight for Starhorn Royal Club, but that's a very, very fed Rise now coming into this late game. He's got his Seraphs. Not to mention how big Zatai is. Somehow managed to piece together a 6-0-4 score. As we see, they just felt like they had to force here. Korn flew in, and don't get me wrong, they were able to isolate Kid and get a relatively good team fight, but they just left Name to the Wolves. And Rookie, with a very impressive play over the backside, was able to pick up a kill. Had to eventually run all the way back around to try and rejoin the fight. But as we see in the bottom, in live, actually, Zatai going extremely low.
Yeah, he's going very, very low. Might not actually fall down there, actually, as you see on the bottom side. Actually, oh, doesn't get the jump. A little bit awkward there. Kitty's going to take a bit of damage there as well, as Fate's Call's going to get him to safety. The Mega Gnar that could. Unable to get over that blue wall. It was almost a very cute play. Randuin's has been completed, though, as he enters the Death Chamber. That's a fair bit of extra money here for Royal Club, because, of course, that kill spree was taken down. You can see Zatai just very animated. Oh, I can't believe I didn't manage to flash over that wall.
We see a little bit of normalcy returning to this game. Zatai, he's 10 seconds away still, but does have the teleport available, so Royal Club must have that in the back of their mind. Kakao, once again, taking no damage from anything.
Ooh, Blank looking for something. Explosive Cast comes through, but just hits Kid away from this one. IG taking this as a go button. Death Sentence to land on a Kitty who just explodes in the fight. Cola takes him down. Kakao now has the entire attention of all of Royal Club. And Zero and Korn trying to at least pressure away the rest of the members. Kakao still alive though, and Kid, the Hemo Plague's there. There's the ultimate to come through. Kid's gonna fall down. Zatai finds his way back into the fight. Kakao still running rampant in the backline. Rookie gonna take down Name, and Blank and Rookie are gonna fight this one out. I think I know who my money's on, as Rookie's gonna pick up that kill, and Cola running headlong into the spiky-headed Rise, and he picks up a double.
Yeah, so in the end, what a fight coming out of Invictus Gaming, and it was just all about this Udyr. Don't chase him. At this point, it's almost like a cinch. Just let him do his thing, try and kill the other members. They were able to once again take Kid out. He's unfortunately the sacrificial lamb of this team comp, as Korn really wants Kakao. But I think if he's proven anything, it's that he doesn't do much damage to him.
Yeah, and if Kakao's done anything, he proves that he just is very good at taking damage and doesn't really care about anything else in this game apart from killing creeps and being annoying.
Yeah, so let's take another look at this one. They hit the go button. Kakao's on the back line. Kitties gets absolutely blown up. And 3 members turn around and hightail it onto the full tank Udyr. They just continue. It's 4 members, actually. Zero got baited into it as well. And in the end, they're made to pay. They isolate Zero. They isolate Korn. Kid and Rookie just able to do so much free damage. Cola flies in, and you see the amount of damage they do with the correct target prioritization, but it's just not there. It's all about IG having superior communication, being able to take these team fights consistently with just very, very good team play.
That was a quadra kill in the end for Rookie. Confusingly. Because it said double, but I think he'd already got a triple prior. Very strange. Very, very strange stuff. He is 9-3-3 though, so I believe that was quite a few kills he just picked up. Royal Club able to clear out some vision around this Baron, as the Callista is going to head back to base, possibly to pick up that Banshee's Veil. As we're just having a look at the items here as the Descent is going to come through into the Zap here as well. The box comes down. The Chompers are there at the same time. Blank trying to get some work done. Hemoplague onto Rookie, but Rookie takes down Zero there on the backside. Name gets ulted. The depth charge to come through as Rookie's going to fall down. Kakao, he's found Name though, and he's doing enough damage. The heal comes through. Kakao, the last Whisper doing some work here from Name. He manages to kill him here, and the Jinx doing some work, getting excited on the backside of this fight. Kid trying to 1v4. We'll see whether it's going to be enough, but the horse is doing work, and Kid just gets rampaged to death. Royal Club finally find a team fight they can win.
Yeah, and there's no teleport, so there's no ward, so the teleport won't be able to come through from Zatai with the home guard boots. He's going to just have to let this one fall down. And in the end, Starhorn Royal Club, they do the impossible, win a team fight, 10,000 gold down. They're going to pick up a Baron.
Yep, they win the team fight, pick up a Baron, they manage to get the objective. That is such the important thing here for Royal Club, because they haven't been able to transition their wins into effective gold across the map. But 300 gold on every member, definitely going to take a chunk out of that gold advantage for IG.
Yeah, so let's take a look at exactly what happened. The max range hook coming through here, landing on Rookie, that Fed member on Rise. The perfect play, and you thought he might be tanky enough to survive this, but there was just too many members. They even used a Hemoplague just on him, commit so much for taking down Rise, but in the end, definitely worth it, because there was just no damage after that point. Callista too far away, and they just weren't able to kill anyone.
Yeah, and Kakao sort of unable to do enough to Name there as well. Gets some nice cheeky crits onto him as Kiddies is going to fall down, and just worked out like clockwork there. And what's a Callista going to do without any peel?
Yeah, exactly right. So Kola, he's just able to handedly deal with this Callista at this point in the game. And you really have to think that Invictus Gaming, they missed a trick there. They were in the driver's seat. They were probably able to close out that game. They were the ones that were trying to bait the Baron repetitively, but Royal Club, they get a steal.
And as well, I mean, Name, he's got 3 items. That's 4-item Vladimir as well.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you saw how much work that amp damage was doing, not to mention the fact nearly a 4-item top lane Hecarim. We have to talk about Kola quickly. He's managed to accrue himself a 7-4-5 score and is turning into that big carry top lane. Zatai trying to match it with a Trinity Force pickup, but you just saw in that last team fight, he's not that tanky.
No, he's only got the 2 defensive items here in the Randuins and the Banshee's Veil, and we're starting to see a potential downside of the Frozen Mallet.
Yeah, we certainly are, and Royal Club with that Baron buff now starting to push in. They've fully engaged the Hecarim split push, trusting that Kola now in the point in the match where he can start to deal with Zatai, although it does need to go away as it transforms coming through, because Zatai with that Frozen Mallet can still kite extremely effectively in Mini Gnar and then CC like a boss in Mega Gnar.
Especially now with that Phage coming through as well.
Oh, he actually teleported into the top lane. What a smart move coming out of Kola.
Yeah, he's got a massive creep wave here with the Baron buff as well. Able to take a free turret here. Out rotation available for Royal Club. They're possibly going to be able to pick up this inner in the mid lane as well. Definitely a successful Baron, netting them a whole lot of extra. Oh my goodness, there's a Hemoplague. The Onslaught of Shadows as well. What a wombo combo. The Super Mega Death Rocket tearing apart the members of IG as Rookie. He's now the focus. Death Sentence lands, of course it does. And Rookie gets destroyed. Zatai now almost the only man available as Kakao doesn't have a whole lot of damage to offer to this fight. They're diving under the turret. Name makes short work of that one as he stands so far back to get his DPS down. And Royal Club, they may have just won this game.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case, and this is why you do not give Zero Thresh 2 hooks in a row, win 2 very important team fights, and they're just going for it.
Yeah, really beautiful play. Kakao trying to be a nuisance here as Zatai at full health. Descent's going to land at the same time. Name quite low on health. Has to be a little bit careful here as he's trying to auto-attack down these turrets. Gatling gun form is there as well as Kakao trying to do some work. Name going down very low. The heal's there. They're rushing down the Nexus, but it's not going to be enough. Korn trying to do some work. Triple kill already for Kid as Korn gets knocked up. Jinx falls down and they secure the ace. with half of the health of the Nexus remaining.
Yeah, they're able to get the Ace Atlas, and what a turnaround team fight. Starhorn Royal Club went for broke. Now the 30-second death timers. It won't be the game for IG, but it means that this one will be delayed for a little bit longer.
It will, and I mean, that might give IG the opportunity to take a long, hard look at what's been going wrong in these fights and possibly try and do something about it, because Royal Club, it's not like they can just mosey up to that Nexus and kill it. They're going to have to get through the members of IG that have now all respawned, apart from Kakao, who's got another 5 seconds.
Yeah, so they're able to pick up the third dragon of the game as well. That's not really very relevant at this stage with an open inhibitor. If this game goes another 12, 15 minutes, you would think that it would be very out of control, but they got it back to a 6,000 gold lead with those 2-1 team fights. They're able to break through everything in the base. Now the real pressure is on IG. They need to make sure that their vision control is on point. Push out this minion wave to get the minions acting as that scouting force through the middle of the map, because otherwise, real potential for the Hecarim to fly into the base and even go for a sneaky backdoor.
Potentially. And that is going to end up with 8 turrets to 5. So a lot of global gold now being picked up by Royal Club. That is definitely something worth talking about here. As it's a 6-item rise. That is a very, very frightening prospect, as the Abyssal Scepter has been completed, as well as the Frozen Heart and the Void Staff. But Rookie not going to be getting any stronger this game.
Yeah, so only Elixir's going to come in through here. Also, nearly a maxed out Vladimir as well. Can upgrade into the Leandries, but from there, not really much else going on. I like the fact that he's gone for some HP shred, because there's not that much MR coming through on the lineup of Invictus Gaming. And Name, he's gone for the Blade of the Ruin King over the Bloodthirster, prioritizing some attack damage, some extra kite for himself, the ability to shred through these HP tanks. Because, of course, we're not talking about a Thornmail on Zatai. We're talking about a Frozen Mallet. The only defensive stat it really has is
health.
That health, as we see the Sentinel coming across, foiling the Starhorn plan of maybe a backdoor coming through. Kakao might have been caught there. Goes for a ward. Able to get it. No hook coming from Zero. And the pressure on a knife's edge. IG, if they win this, of course, move up into equal fourth. Royal Club need to win this to keep their playoffs hope alive.
This is some very, very tense times, and the Royal Club members definitely with all of the pressure now. They've been given a window into this game. There are no Nexus turrets available, remember, ladies and gentlemen. Royal Club could potentially just go for broke and try and storm this base. They're looking to try and get a pick. They're waiting for this Baron to start becoming... Oh my goodness, the hook from Zero Kitties gets destroyed. Kakao needs to be careful as well, gets knocked into the team, but he's so tanky. Name as well. Look at the Gnar under 3 members. Name's going to get destroyed in this fight. Does get taken down by Kakao, who's just so huge. Double kill for Cola, though, as Kid and Rookie are both dead. And 4 members of Royal Club are going to storm this Nexus. And Starhorn Royal Club, they've done it. They've managed to tie up this series with Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, so they're going for a little bit of a defiant ending, but that Nexus will fall. And what a game out of Royal Club. They were down and out. 10,000 gold was the lead, but they managed to pull it through.
Really beautiful
Zero
play.
is so good on Thresh.
He is, and that was all off the back of his play. You have to think not very many of the other members of the Royal Club lineup had stellar performances that game. It was just fantastic picks, an initiation that really got that team rolling.
Yeah, and it was definitely when it mattered, the veteran play coming through.
Yeah.
And Kohler in the top lane, probably the other member that had a very good performance, was able to deal with Kid this time around on that Hecarim, more of a carry-style top laner. I definitely think that's what Royal Club need. They need to run multiple threats, because teams have got really good at diving Name, trying to take him out of the fight. We've seen that Korn, he's done an admirable job as a second threat, but they just need something more to get the job done, especially without Insec in the lineup.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether Insec is going to be coming back here. But ladies and gentlemen, there is still one matchup tonight. Vici Gaming